In business, patience is a requirement. You can't expect to have a tree full of fruit tomorrow if you just planted the seed today. Francesca Anastasi. On today's episode, I'm going to give you an update on one of my store locations that was flooded last week. And as promised, I'm going to give you my takeaways from episode 67 with Terran and Quinton Lewis. Welcome to the Stitched for Success podcast, where we are teaching business and life lessons that will help you launch, grow, or scale your creative business. I am Monica Allen, and I'm a wife, mom, daughter, entrepreneur, author, friend, lifelong learner, and host of this podcast. For over 8 years, I was stuck in corporate and dreamt of escaping. Creating a side hustle with just $700 and having taken the leap over 15 years ago, we have since grown multiple six-figure and seven-figure brands. Being an entrepreneur for over 18 years has afforded me many successes and a few failures. I want to share those with you so you can grow and be successful in your business. This podcast episode is brought to you by Zeus's Closet. We like to say we're like a tattoo shop for your clothes. You can visit our website at zeus'scloset.com. Our solopreneur package is available, which saves you 20% off of your company's branded apparel. Simply use the promo code STITCHED. The link to the package is in the show notes. Remember, you are your biggest brand ambassador. Make sure you embrace it and show it wearing your logo so people remember who you are. In the last episode, I told you all about the flood that happened at one of our store locations. So we're still dealing with that. This week is proving to be busy, as many of them are. But I've talked to a claims adjuster, so we're making progress with the insurance company. A contractor's coming out next week to take a look at the damage and get those repairs going. So that's moving along. Again, I'm just going with the flow. And so much so that I don't know what it is with water, but we also had a leak at our house underground that had to be repaired. Luckily, that happened pretty quickly as far as the repair, but we had a water bill that was almost $4,000, which alerted us to the fact that water is basically gushing out under our home. So that's being taken care of. Literally going with the flow here. But this week is good. I am attending a virtual conference. I'm attending the Funnel Hackers Live virtual conference. And I am about educated out at this point. I have gone to Business Mastery in August. I've done a creators workshop earlier this month. Now I'm doing ClickFunnels, and I'm also doing a couple of mini courses on some things. So now I am ready to implement all of this wonderful stuff that I've learned in my business. I will share some of it with you as well on the podcast as we move through this third season. And I'm very excited about all that I'm learning. I am a lifelong learner, and so I truly enjoy learning. But one of the things with learning is you also have to implement. It doesn't do us any good to learn a whole bunch of stuff and then we don't actually put it into action. So that's my next step towards this last quarter of the year, is to put all of these wonderful learnings into action. So now I'm going to jump into my takeaways with Terran and Quinton on episode 67. There were many takeaways from the episode with Terran and Quinton, but I'm going to just share a few of those with you today. The first being, you have to let your team members know your expectations. So communication is key. Really, anyone you work with, be it a service provider, a virtual assistant, a team member, you need to communicate to them your expectations. A service member could be an accountant, and I use an accountant as an example because the very first accountant we had for our business, he was very non-responsive, or I should say he would take a long time to respond. Not 24 hours, not 48 hours, typically longer. And so it was very frustrating for me, but I found that once I had a conversation with him and clarified my expectations, he was much, much better. So service providers, you can definitely let them know your expectations. With your team members, because you're working with them every single day, one of the ways to let them know your expectations is to establish core values in your company. And we'll talk more about core values in the future, how to come up with them for your company if you don't have them already, and why they're important. But one of the reasons they're important is it ensures that everyone is on the same page in different areas of your business. Our team members must watch a video during their onboarding process that deals only with core values. And actually, if you want to see our core values, even our customers can see our core values because they're on our Zeus's Closet website. So that was one of my takeaways. Another takeaway that I received from Terran and Quinton is that you have to step up as a leader. Now, most of us don't have this innate quality of leadership. We would like to think that we do. And there are definitely times, when you were a kid, you may have been the team captain on your soccer team or your basketball team. And that is, of course, leadership. But oftentimes when it comes to leading people, determining what motivates them, and having that work for everyone on your team can be a little bit more of a challenge. So it's really important that you recognize where you lack in leadership so you can fill those gaps. Either fill those gaps with another person or fill those gaps by educating yourself on what you need to get done. So that was another takeaway that I had. Also, I know for me personally, I had to read a lot of books when I began managing people. And I've said this before, I always thought that I was definitely a people person, and I still am. I truly enjoy talking to people. Ethan often talks about me because I really will talk to customers for a very long time and know their family history before they even leave our store. But that is not the same as leading a team of people towards one mission. And so I've had to read a lot of books in order to fill in those gaps. I think this is about my third takeaway is hiring family. Hiring family can definitely be a great thing, but it can also not be a great thing. It really depends on the family member and them being on the same page with you. And again, core values could be something that helps solve this problem or a potential problem. My mom has worked with our company for well over 15 years, but we've also in the past had to let go of a family member. And sometimes it's very difficult to divide business from personal. So I do caution you when it comes to hiring family. We all would like to think that family is going to always look out for the best interests of the company, for the best interests of the owners of the company. But sometimes this is simply not the case. And you don't want to ruin relationships. And unfortunately for us, there's still some pain points and some contention in regards to us letting a family member go, who we absolutely love, but it just wasn't the right fit at that particular time. This takeaway was one of my favorite because they talked about having a system and focusing on customer service. This one is big because without systems and without focusing on customer service, you run the risk of simply not having a business and definitely not having a long-term business, because without customers and without clients, you don't have a business. It is simply non-existent. So paying attention to establishing your systems first, and part of that system is going to be about taking care of your customer. Terran spoke about it from the example of a restaurant, but taking care of your customer is important no matter what business you're in. And having the right systems in place to not only take care of your customer, but to make sure your operations are in line. So establishing step by step what you do within your business when you get a new order, when you get a new client, how do you take those processes and handle them and make sure they're done accordingly that equals success. You want it to equal success for you as the company, but also equal success, more importantly, for your customer. In that episode, they talked about standard operating procedures. And we've established these over time. They will change. Some things you may let go of, some things you will take on new, but it's important that you put systems in place to handle every single piece of your business. And we've outlined this, and I've mentioned it before, in Trainual for each department, because it literally tells you step by step what needs to be done when a new order comes in, when an order is approved, when that order is processed through to production, step by step, so someone else can pick it up and we're again all on the same page. It allows us to keep our customer happy ultimately and have them come back, which is always the goal. Repeat customers are great. You spend a lot of money to acquire a customer. To be able to have them come back again and again helps reduce that cost. Just a few more. You need money to grow, and you need money to invest back in your business. If you're still at your 9 to 5, save as much as you can while you're working. Perhaps sacrifice some parties, some travel, some clothing or shoes, so you can save money to grow and ultimately invest that in your business. And I've said this before, and I'll probably say it forever. When you do start your business and you begin growing, you begin making money, or actually from the very beginning, when you make that first dollar, you want to save a minimum of 10% of what you make. That's the minimum. If you can save more, that is even better. But you will need to get in a rhythm of reserving your cash, so someday you can use that money to make that big investment that hopefully will propel your business forward. So remember, you need money to grow. And I love the fact that Terran and Quinton, as a married couple, were willing to move back in to one of their parents' homes. And a lot of times that can be frowned upon. You tell your friends you live with your parents and they may think, oh no, you live with your parents. That's not cool. But you know what? If you're living with your parents and you're saving money to invest in your business, ultimately they'll still be working their 9 to 5 and you'll have that money in your business, growing your business. So if you need to stay at home with your parents a bit longer, or however long it takes, as long as your parents are cool with it, stay at home and save the money to invest in your business. Another takeaway, and I love this one so much too, start something and stick with it. Quinton mentioned it like a garden. Allow it to grow, nurture. And I love that metaphor of running a business like a garden. You have to cultivate your business. Going from business to business never gives you an opportunity to truly focus and grow it. So treat your business like a garden. You want to tend to it. You want to till the soil. You want to fertilize it. You want to take care of your garden. Love that. And lastly, pass down the knowledge. Do not hold on to what you're learning. Don't keep it all to yourself as you grow your business. Pass it on. Pass it on to your children, to your nieces, your nephews, your other friends and family members. Pass it on. Do not take the knowledge with you. And though I know none of us like to talk about the day when we will no longer be here on this earth, it's something we don't want to talk about. It is not a comfortable subject, but it's going to happen at some point. So you want to pass on that knowledge, because that is something that is intangible that you can leave someone and they will remember you for the knowledge that you poured into them. Those are my takeaways from my chat with Terran and Quinton. In summary, the takeaways from episode 67: step up as a leader, let team members know your expectations, proceed with caution when hiring family, establish systems, and make sure those systems are focused on delivering your best to the customer. And I had also mentioned standard operating procedures. also known as SOPs. That's an important thing to know. Save money. Treat your business like a garden. You want to plant the seeds and be patient and watch them grow. Take care of them, fertilize. And then lastly, pass down the knowledge. Thank you all so much for joining me today and listening to the Stitched for Success podcast. I truly enjoy and love bringing you interviews and bringing you takeaways from those interviews, as well as other insights when it comes to running a business, starting a business, and growing a business. So thank you so much for listening today. And whenever you have an opportunity to listen to the podcast, I truly appreciate it. I would love if you take a moment to go follow me on Instagram or TikTok. My handle is @StitchedForSuccess. If you have not already, please subscribe to the podcast, rate and review, and please share it with a friend. Thanks again. Love you being here. Have a great one.